Let's Talkie asks, how much do you think the new Steam VR will cost in Europe? So far, all they've said is they're trying to keep it at or below the price of the Valve Index, which was $1,000. Projections are saying $899, even up to $1,200 is possible in the US just because of the cost of RAM and everything going up. If they're promising under $1,000, it's probably gonna come in right around $1,000 US with VAT, taxes, other stuff. In Europe, I'd say you're probably looking at about 900 to 1,200 euros, which is more than dollars as well. That's about the best guess we can give right now. Unfortunately, it'll be more than it is here, but it's going to be more everywhere than everyone's hoping. Although for a VR headset to come out like the Steam Frame with the wireless specs, the ability to connect to your PC wirelessly 7 years after the Valve Index and to be about the same price, it seems fair to me, but tell me what you think in the comments. There was a time until we got to about 10,000 subscribers, I want to say, that I responded to every single comment on the channel every day. It's impossible now, but I figured taking a little time to go through some of your questions and answer them in a video might help a lot of you get your questions answered, or at least I hope. NRoss911 asks, I have a question. If you get a different VR headset than MetaQuest, can you still get into the Meta Horizon world? No, you cannot. That is exclusive to Meta. They do that on purpose to try and get you in their ecosystem. Then they said they were going to kill Horizon Worlds. Everybody freaked out, and they said it was going to sort of live. The only difference is you can get it mobile, so you can get on a phone and play on it. It's one way you can do it, but we all have mixed opinions about what they've done there with Horizon Worlds and everything going on. But if you, for some reason, spend a lot of time on Horizon Worlds and you think they're not going to kill it, you've got to stick to Meta. Theron PSC, who actually came to our last local meetup, got to meet him in person, give him a bunch of extra accessories, asks, are you planning to sell those shirts? So this shirt I'm wearing right now, the unboxing sword, is part of the A. So editor John actually had some shirts made up with a local company here for us. Not necessarily something we're looking to sell ourselves. It's so much work to sell shirts. We've done it through companies before, trying to make sure that they were ethical and good, and a couple people were able to buy them that way. But like, if you want to do them yourself with premium fabrics, make sure it's not sweatshop labor. It costs a ton. So it's something that if people call enough for merch, maybe we'll bring it back, but it's not something that I've thought about doing in a while. David Lynn, Dev Value, and #1 Epcot fan all asked, what are those clip-on headphones you have? What are those? I'm looking for something like those. Quick history lesson for you Quest fans here. Quest 2 came out, audio was quieter than most people wanted it to be. A company called Rebuff Reality made VR ears, and they promised to be louder, better audio quality, give you that off ear like the nice Pimax headphones are, the off ear speakers, or the Valve Index had them. So you get the immersion of the sound coming at your ear, but not having headphones, something else touching your head. They launched expensive. I feel like they were like 180 originally, and they pretty quickly got dropped to 150. I reviewed them way back then, said these are way too expensive for what you get. They're another thing you have to charge. They're heavy, they're clunky, but now they're down to $50. And as I've been doing more Fit XR, I did Supernatural for a while. When you're working out to music in a VR headset, you want to be able to get as loud as you want, and the max volume on a Quest for me just didn't do it. And they're decent now. At that price, I would say I'm using them constantly for it, so I would recommend them at that price, but it is still another thing you have to charge. You have to have them hooked onto your headset. You got to run a cable to the other side because they were made for the audio port on the Quest 2 on the left. But if you're looking for those, I'll leave a link down below. We do have a lot of accessories on our headphones, as Jacob28K and Maxima1219 both pointed out. One said, bro, what is that thing that's not even a VR anymore? Or Maxima saying, why do you have so much stuff attached to your Quest 3? You're quite overdoing it on the accessories from how it looks. We're a review channel. At least that's where we came up, where we started from. So I review accessories of all types for the Quest, and over time I pick the ones I like the most and I keep them on my headset, and that's why my headset is a bit of a monster. But as we showed you in that video of how a headset can easily rack up to over $1,000, every accessory has its purpose. The headphones give me better volume and sound. The head strap has a fan on it that cools my face and keeps the headset from fogging. I go back and forth between using and not using a facial interface, but the facial interface I do use from Oblic is custom printed, fits my face based on a 3D scan of my face. The head strap also has hot swappable batteries. That's the Bobo VR S3 Pro that I use. Right now I'm using a dock and grips from Prism XR because the whole thing can sit on there and charge. The grips keep the controllers from falling out of my hand or going anywhere when I'm playing. If I get sweaty, they don't slip. So yeah, I've got a bunch of stuff going on my Quest. If you're interested in them, I'll leave links below. We've been a channel that's focused a lot on the Quest over the years. We started with PSVR, went to Quest. I've been playing more in the PCVR realm recently. Been getting back into that with Pimax and some of their high-end headsets. Been getting a lot of questions around those. And Jones commented on one of the Pimax videos, quoting me, it must be new headset season or it's just a Tuesday for Pimax. Pimax does have a lot of different headsets, modularity, where you can swap out face panels that then change the screen from QLED to OLED to ultra wide field of view. And then it makes it upgradable for the future and what they're doing, which I think is a cool idea. It does mean though, if you get a different headset down the road, you may end up with parts that aren't necessarily swappable, but they've tried to do a good job of like the speakers can switch from headset to headset. Those panels can change so you can upgrade without buying a whole new headset. As AZN Ravens Drive pointed out, they said the modular upgrade is what they want to to see in all things tech, which as we've seen in the whole world of tech right now. I mean, even countries are starting to push back against phone companies saying, hey, you really need to have swappable batteries in these things, planned obsolescence, all of that. I like the idea of modular upgrades. We've seen them in the Quest realm with like Bobo VR. They had the most popular Quest 2 strap, pretty sure in the world. And then when the Quest 3 came out, they made a set of adapters so you could just switch it and keep your head strap, keep using your battery. Unfortunately, the Quest 3 was pretty power hungry, so they eventually made the bigger battery upgrade that I use. But things like that where you can keep what you have, you don't have to buy a whole new thing every time, I think is awesome. But I think it's just something we've gotten used to in the world, having to get a new phone every couple of years and such. Like, we accept it even if it's not cool. So seeing modularity like that, what Pimax is doing, it is a cool idea. Viper VR Tech, if you don't know him, real cool dude, has a channel. He said that I apparently said shockingly like 5 times in the Pimax video. That was talking about specifically the new Dream, which is a dream in a way. It's high-end PCVR OLED with a tiny footprint on your face, much smaller than anything else. It's really even smaller, I'd say, than a set of ski goggles. Really cool that they've been able to pull that off and do that. And I'm waiting on the Slam model, which is one that has its own inside out tracking, and that might end up being my full-time PCVR headset. Sky H6J talking about how they didn't like Pimax since 2018, but now with the Dream Air, they love it. They've tried both the Big Screen Beyond 2 and the Megan X, but the Dream Air is the top one. Now, this comment interested me because I have been really enjoying these smaller PCVR headsets. The Dream that I've got, I'm just waiting to get my hands on. I think the Dream Slam is what I want still, the high-end visuals, but with the inside-out tracking, so I don't have to worry about base stations and I can have controllers with it. The Dream Air is a much more affordable version of that. I want to say it's the lowest end model is like $900. It is a PCVR headset, but it's still got pretty good mid-range visuals. It's going to work with most graphics cards. I still haven't gotten to try the Big Screen Beyond 2 or the Megan X. I've held a Big Screen Beyond 1 though, and just to hold that and see how small it was, it feels like once you feel that and the Dream, the size on them is shockingly small for what you're going to get out of a PCVR setup, but it is still cabled PCVR and all of that. Vadem Z Varev asks, of the Pimax Crystal Supers, if you can only choose one, which would you recommend? So I tried the QLED and I tried the OLED, and the QLED has that wide field of view, big lenses, brighter brights. I said in that video, even I could not get over how good looking the OLED screen it was itself. I love the Pimax OLED. I played a bunch of Into the Radius 2 on it. So immersive. And even though you lose a little bit of field of view, I didn't care. The visuals were so good. There was almost no mirror, no screen door effect. It just looked so beautiful and immersive that I definitely wanted to go for that one. And it even has me questioning, I have QLED TVs all around the house. Maybe an OLED TV really is worth it. You can't get as big of a size. They're way more expensive, but it has me very curious what one would look like in our viewing room here. And if, even though I couldn't get it as big as the cheap Hisense 100 inches in there, would it be worth the visual upgrade? Kathy of the Glade says, since I refuse to use Meta products, you're not alone in that. A lot of people really hate on what Meta's done and have zero use for a standalone, as I only play Star Citizen and DCS. It sounds like I will be looking at a Pimax Super in the spring once we are done with the house remodel. That was 7 months ago, Kathy. I'm curious if you see this. Did you end up getting one after all that? If you're one of the people who doesn't care about standalone, or you're playing obviously flight sims, racing sims, space sims, Star Citizen, really at this point, high-end Pimax is what most people are going for. They aren't cheap. They are premium headsets, and unlike PSVR or even Steam headsets, they don't get any cut of games on a store anywhere, so they have to charge for the actual tech in them. That's one thing I think people have forgotten. What Meta did when they made the Quest 2 come out at $300, it was $100 cheaper than the Quest 1 that had just come out a year prior. It had better visuals, better frame rate. A lot of Quest 1 owners were really unhappy that that happened so quickly, but a VR headset like that at $299, it was estimated at the time, like it was costing them 4 times that to produce these headsets. But they wanted people, they knew that in selling these headsets, the future was going to be, it wasn't just the games. If they were going to get people in social experiences, if they were going to force people eventually to have a Facebook later, they would get all of this ad revenue that was going to make up more than plenty for the loss they had. And plus, as a multi-billion-dollar corporation, they can take that risk, where smaller companies like Pimax, who are just making headsets, or even Big Screen, although they have their app, of course, they unfortunately can't subsidize these as low as Sony or Meta or even Steam could. YOU Ronnen, I would like to see it mixed up with some PCVR content. I enjoyed this videos. I have a crystal light, local dimming. The image quality between the crystal light and my Quest 3 and PSVR 2 is pretty dramatic. A couple of complaints I do have is the cable's pretty short and the controllers are not great, but I mostly use it for sim racing and a little bit of flight. Same thing we said in our our Pimax reviews. The controllers, they work. The tracking, if you're used to something like even Quest 3 tracking or especially Lighthouse, you're gonna notice the tracking flaws in it. But really for sim racing, flight sims, one of my friends who's built a flight sim rig at home is now doing all of this to get his actual pilot's license. Another friend of mine who does 24-hour long endurance races. I've let them both try our Pimaxes and it's all they want now. One came from a Vive Pro 2. The other hadn't had a headset at all yet. That experience, that's what's drawn me back into doing more PC, and plus just bigger, longer games, more of that. So I know plenty of you out there have a question. You're also pairing it up with a PC to do those kinds of games, and you know what I'm talking about and how it's worth it. Of course, on the Pimax videos, Cut Up Man said, when you're ready to give away that headset, I will take it. Yeah, I wish we could give away headsets quite that expensive. We do have a Quest 3 giveaway going on right now, not a 3S, because I know you all prefer the more expensive ones. So there will be a link to that below. Some of these other videos we referenced and talked to here. And let me know down below in the comments if you like this kind of video, if you like us responding to more of these comments, get more out there for all of you. If this helps, I would love to continue doing these more and helping that way, because I can't spend the hours and hours I used to spend responding to comments, unfortunately, but I try at least every time I post a video to hang out for at least a half hour or so, reply to the people who show up. So the notification gang at least gets some of that. But if you want to drop more comments down below this one, I'll try and get back to this video specifically and watch out for them. But I want to say thank you once again for being here with me, and I'll see you in another reality.